Alright, so here's something I didn't expect to say this soon. Apple's foldable iPhone is no longer just a rumor floating around. This thing is actually starting to take shape. And at the exact same time, Samsung might be making one of the boldest and riskiest decisions they've ever made with their flagship phones. Let's start with Apple, because this is where things get really interesting. So the foldable iPhone, whether it ends up being called the iPhone Fold or the iPhone Ultra, we've just got a pretty big update on how Apple is planning to tackle the biggest problem every foldable has: the crease. According to a Chinese tipster, Apple is working on a hinge that uses 3D printed components. And no, this isn't just Apple trying to sound futuristic. The goal here is actually very practical. They're trying to reduce how visible and how noticeable that crease is when you're using the phone. And the thing is, Apple isn't new to this. They've already been quietly using 3D printing in places like Apple Watch components and even parts of the USB-C structure in recent iPhones. So this isn't experimental for them. It's something they already trust. What's more interesting is that other companies are already moving in a similar direction. Oppo, for example, has been using a special 3D printed layer under the display to basically fill the crease area, making it feel almost flat when you swipe across it. So if Apple can pull off something like that on their very first foldable, that's a big deal. But the hinge is only half the story. The display itself is also getting a pretty clever upgrade. The current leaks suggest Apple is going with a dual-layer glass system, essentially sandwiching the display between two ultra-thin glass layers. And what that does is it prevents the screen from directly rubbing against the hinge every time you fold it. Less stress on the display means better durability, and hopefully a crease that doesn't get worse over time. And here's where things start to feel very real. Apple is reportedly planning to order up to 20 million foldable panels from Samsung Display. That's not a "let's test the waters" number. That's Apple going all in. Right now, the expected launch window is late 2026, alongside the iPhone 18 Pro lineup. So yeah, still a bit of a wait, but clearly Apple is gearing up for something big. Now, while Apple is entering the foldable space, Samsung is doing something completely different. They're rethinking their entire flagship lineup. So by 2027, instead of the usual 3 Galaxy S models, Samsung is expected to go with 4: the Standard, the Plus, the Pro, and the Ultra. And at first glance, it might look like they're just copying Apple's naming strategy, but there's actually more to it than that. Samsung has basically been relying on the Ultra as their one, everything-included phone for years. Meanwhile, Apple splits that premium experience into 2 devices. So this new Pro model, it's Samsung finally filling that gap. The Galaxy S27 Pro is expected to sit just below the Ultra, but much closer to it than the Plus ever was. Which means a lot of features that used to be Ultra only are probably going to trickle down. And that sounds great! Until you hear this part. There are early signs that the S27 Pro might not support the S Pen. And that alone raises a bigger question. What happens to the Ultra? Because there are whispers that Samsung might actually remove the S Pen from the Ultra as well. Or at least change how it works. And that's kind of wild when you think about it. The S Pen isn't just a feature, it's basically Samsung's identity at the high end. It's the one thing that made the Ultra feel like a true successor to the Note series. So if that disappears, what really separates the Ultra from the Pro anymore? A slightly bigger screen? A slightly better camera? That's a much harder sell, especially if the Pro ends up delivering 90% of the same experience. So yeah, Samsung is walking a very fine line here. Add more options? Great. But remove the thing that made your top phone special? That's risky. And that's what makes this whole situation so interesting. On one side, you've got Apple taking their time, refining the tech, and preparing what could be one of the most polished first-gen foldables we've ever seen. On the other, you've got Samsung experimenting with their lineup, potentially reshaping what their flagship even means. 2 very different strategies, both with a lot on the line. So the real question is, who's making the smarter move here? Are you more excited for Apple finally entering the foldable game, or do you think Samsung's shakeup could actually pay off? Drop your thoughts below, and if you want to stay ahead of all these upcoming launches, you know what to do. I'll catch you in the next one.